Tracy Brown here. I'm so glad that we're back to our patio little talks around all things intuitive eating, body positivity, health at every size, and whatever comes up in terms of having a more free and peaceful relationship with food, weight, and ourselves. And so today I thought I would talk about one thing. I want to start breaking these videos down into actionable things that you all who are watching can try out to see how it works for you. And so today I thought about talking about that one thing that I think all of us have a hard time doing, which is being present to whatever it is we're doing. But with our talks, it's usually around food. And so the power of being fully present to your eating, even if you are restricting, even if you are binging or emotional eating, you will learn a lot from that process if you will give it a chance. And so we'll talk about the first idea I have for you guys, and then maybe breaking that down into smaller, more doable pieces, so that way you can work your way towards what I'm going to suggest. And so if you're ready, here it goes. I'm going to suggest that you eat without distraction. And some of you may be thinking, no, that's not going to happen. I like my zoning out in front of the TV or the computer or my phone and eating or not eating, or eating my tiny portions or my certain foods because I don't want to acknowledge that I'm really eating that little or eating that food, or even eating something that makes me not feel well, but I'm doing it anyway, and I need the distraction to make it less real. And so those are all very common things I hear. So you might be asking, well, what is the point? I like my numbness. I like my checking out time. And I would say, well, you're probably not watching this if that's a long-term goal for you, or you want that to be the way your life always is. And so it's this first step. I remember reading in Janine Roth's book about, she called the eating in full view, meaning eating your food as if you have guests over, treasured guests that you care about, and you want to be as present to as possible. And I remember reading in her books on eating in full view. In one of her books as well, she talks about if you're going to binge, pull up a chair. So pull up your chair to the refrigerator if you're going to do that. And her point in all that being is make sure that if you're going to eat, even if it's something that you feel not okay about, that you be as present to it as you can, so you can learn about what is it that is pulling you towards or away from that food. What is the point of eating in that way? So let's just do a couple examples. So let's say that you are wanting to stop at a more comfortable fullness level, and gosh, when you're eating, you typically hardly remember eating it or what it tastes like. And so my suggestion would be obviously to sit down at a table, have your food on a plate, no matter what it is. If any of you watched some of my videos last week around the Oreo experiment, is that all those meals and snacks, I had all those Oreos, I was sitting down at my table, when typically I would be staying at the counter eating them as I'm actually literally trying to do dishes or something like that, in a very distracted, hurry up and get it over with kind of way. So of course it was going to take me more to be done with them than it would have if I had been fully present. And so I had to learn that. So yeah, well, no matter what it is you're eating, even if you feel like it's emotional eating or a binge, pull up a chair and be as present to it as possible. If that feels really, really, really hard, my suggestion is to break it down into time limits. So why don't you give yourself 5 minutes of being present, and then after that, if you don't want to anymore, you can stop and proceed to doing things the way you usually do. What I can promise you is, though, you're going to learn a lot about how much you're trying to get some other kind of need met with that food and putting it in quickly. And the opposite can be true for restricting. If you're eating low calorie stuff in a very distracted way as well, you're distracting yourself from a level of not feeling the dissatisfaction, not feeling the resentment or the sadness of not getting your needs met, or hearing that voice in your head say that like you can't have something. That's really painful. And so of course we're going to want to ignore that. Okay. So to summarize,